Hi friends, today we are going to learn about attribute based routing in MVC. Attribute based routing in ASP.NET MVC allows you to define routes directly on controller actions. Controller using attributes instead of defining routes in the global route table, typically route.config.cs. This approach makes it easier to manage and maintain routing logic, especially in complex application. In attribute based routing, you use attributes like route, HTTP get, HTTP post, etc. to specify the URL pattern and HTTP methods for an action controller. Key advantages of attribute based routing: more control. It gives you fine grained control over how routes are defined and how URLs are structured. Better readability. The routing logic is closer to the action method itself, which makes the code more intuitive and easier to maintain. Cleaner code. You don't need to manage all routes in one central configuration file. That means RouteConfig.cs. Versioning. It simplifies the process of versioning APIs as routes can be versioned directly in the attribute. Basic syntax and example. Defining a route using the route attribute. The most common attribute is route attribute, which specifies the URL pattern for particular controller action. Example, simple attribute routing. See, here we have a home controller and we have an index action result. That route is home dot slash index, and the another control we have about that route is home slash about. So this action will be accessible via home index. This action will be accessible via home about. Dynamic segments in the URL. You can use placeholders in the URL path that match dynamic segments parameters from the URL. Example, dynamic segments. So look at here, we have a action result of details. We have given a route, it's a product slash details ID with curly open and close bracket. The action will be accessible via products details slash 5. So use ID parameter to fetch product details here. That is the next part. In this example, the ID is a placeholder that matches a dynamic value in the URL. When a request is made to product details 5, the value 5 is passed as ID parameter to the details action. Optional parameter. You can make certain route parameters optional by using a question symbol. Optional parameters. See, here we have a product controller and we have a one action result, that is details. In the route section we have given a product slash detailed slash, in the ID we have given a question symbol. So the action can be accessed via product details 5 or product details. So both two scenarios can be possible here. And here ID parameters are optional. If ID is provided in the URL, the action will still be invoked and it will be, ID will be null. HTTP method constraints. You can restrict routes to specific HTTP methods, get, post, put, delete, using attributes such as HTTP get, HTTP post, HTTP put, HTTP delete. Restricting to specific HTTP methods. See, here we have a contact action result method. This action will only respond to HTTP get request only. So here we have given a HTTP attribute and below we have given a route, home and contact, home slash contact. and this action will only be represented to HTTP post request. Look at here, we have a attribute HTTP post and the route is home/contact. In this example, the contact action has two methods. One handles get request to display the contact form. See, both are contact methods. One is for get and one is for post. One handles get request to display the contact form. The other handles post request to process the form submission. Route prefixing. You can use route prefix attribute to prefix routes for all action within a controller, reducing the redundancy. Example, route prefix. See, we have a controller called product controller. Here you can see route prefix. We have given a product. So this action will be accessible via product. This is taken from here and the details from here. And this action will be accessible via product. This is taken from here and all has taken from here. In this case, all actions product control will automatically have a /product as a prefix. So you don't need to repeat product prefix for each action. Route constraint. You can use route constraints to restrict the values of route parameters. Example. So this action will only be accessible if the ID is a number. See, route constraints. See here we have a product controller, a details action method ID at colon we have given int. So the ID should be int. So if you want to give a string, this will throw an error. And this action will only be accessible if the ID is a string. See, look at here. Route product details ID colon alpha. We have given alpha, that means it's a string. Here ID colon int ensures that ID parameter must be integer, while ID alpha ensures that ID must be alphabetic. Enabling attribute routing in MVC. To enable attribute routing in ASP.NET MVC project, you need to add the following line in your RouteConfig.cs file, typically found in the app.start folder. See, here we have a register routes route collection, routes.map, MVC attribute routes, enable attribute routing. Other routes can be defined here. So this will allow MVC framework to recognize and process the routes defined using attributes. So when to use attribute based routing? Attribute routing is most useful in scenarios where you need to fine-grained control over the URL structure. You want group routes together in a controller for better readability and maintainability. You are rebuilding an API where routes might need to follow specific pattern. You want to version your routes in more flexible way. Example, /API /v1 /resource versus /API /v2 and resource. So friends, this is all about attribute based routing in ASP.NET MVC. So please subscribe, share my channel. Thank you.